Go.
Hello everybody, this is Tony at Callis Rennsport. I want to give you a little insight in how we restore cars and why the time adds up so much. And you can see this beautiful 356 Speedster behind us, and there's a 911S next to that, a 74 up above, a 69 over here, and then the 2020 race car. What a contrast. But let me give you an idea. It's something that I've been following for many, many years. And I'll give you a little insight onto how we restore cars, how we restore Porsches. We have about 10 restorations in process as we speak. So first of all, you need to get a hold of these old parts books. And this is for 72, 73. So there's differences there. There's early 72s. We're restoring a 72 911S Targa. And I want to show you all day long, all day, I've spent going through the nuts and bolts. Excuse me. You can see the 5-gallon bucket of bolts. And I pick out bolts and then I look at the marking on them. And if they have the proper markings, I put down here K-Max, Caro, Verbis, different Dorn, other K-Max bolts, and other Caro bolts. But what we do is we go through the book, we look at the DIN spec, we look it up through a DIN catalog, and it tells you certain specs. Now, in the older cars, it tells you if it's, well, the book doesn't tell you if it's a K-Max. We know that certain years take certain brands. So if it's a K-Max or if it's a Verbis, this is the proper way to restore a Porsche. If it's a 356, it needs to be an older bolt that's not measured in 8.8, it's 8G. So gives you a little insight into how much detail we put into it. So let's just look at this 72 for a minute. We have a deck lid, we have an engine lid, and it calls for a bolt, a split lock washer, and 2 washers, one for a shim. So let's go into number 16 on that washer. If you go into number 16, and I have them laid out here, it'll show you it's a Scheibe washer. If you look this up in a proper catalog, it will show you that it should be a standard flat washer, 6mm flat washer. Now, we look at the thickness of each one of these. So as we assemble the car, see how the differences in these different manufacturers? So if you go from 1.4, I want to put those aside because they should go together. Now the spec is 1.6. So we want to make sure we don't go too thick and we don't go too thin. So if I do find one that I like, I will put it aside and I'll use it. There's 1.6. So that needs to be plated, but also it should be 12 millimeters in diameter, okay? Now on number 21, it tells you that it should be, the outer diameter should be 3 times the inner. So if the inner is 6.5, that makes it 19.5, and that's really close. So that's our shims. I need to find one more of those because over here, these are too small, being 19.75, and this is actually 11.8. So these are not the shims I want to use. That's actually a little too thick. So that's not working. Eventually I will find every washer that I want to use to assemble the car. The deck lid and the front hood use split locks that are actually phosphate coated. So those are in my bag ready to go. The Allen bolts are not here yet. I need to go find those in the shop tomorrow morning. I've sorted out from Schnorrs to Starlock, washers, fender washers, which I actually have those out right now, trying to find the proper ones for this car. So just to give you a little insight onto how much detail goes into this, and I've spent probably 10 hours today sorting through used bolts, putting them into bags, putting them into bins, and sorting out. And next I'll go to probably a wire wheel, or hopefully I can get somebody to wire wheel them and clean them up and make sure that the lettering is nice and they haven't been corroded, and that way they can go to the plater. and either get cadmium, clear silver, or depending on what you're calling it now, gold or silver. But this is phosphate coated. That's good for most transmissions, or cadmium. And you don't want it too gold, you don't want it too dull. You know, you can tell the difference in a lot of these. But if you're looking at a restoration, make sure that they go into that detail. I hope that's a little insight into how things are done. I know most people had no idea what goes into an automotive restoration. And we'll talk to you later. Thank you.